What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw, and it feels good to be back. This is the first 1,000 round review that I'm going to be putting up since I got deleted. I appreciate all you guys for sticking around, and welcome to the full review of the Grandpower Stribog. The Grandpower Stribog SP9A1 is made in Slovakia, which is not the first place you really think of when it comes to high-quality firearms, but you'd be wrong. This is the Gen 2, I believe, which has the non-reciprocating charging handle. This gun is a 9mm blowback-operated pistol caliber carbine. I believe there is a Gen 3 coming out relatively soon, so it is kind of nice we got the Gen 2 out first, and I should probably get the Gen 3 for review at a later date, which has a slightly different operating mechanism than this guy does. We ran an Omega 9K on it. If you guys were wondering, it's one of my favorite 9mm cans. And it did run very well with no change in ammunition or springs or anything like that. I just threw it on there, ran just fine, and then took it back off, and it ran the same. It's got an M-lock rail. It has a front charging handle, which I like. I wish it was a little bit bigger, but I get why it's so small. You can switch it to the other side and run it like an AK if you so choose. The M-lock rail is pretty nice. You can throw grips or lights or whatever you want on there. Got the HoloSun 512C, which is a pretty awesome optic I had never heard of until a supporter told me to get it, and I got a hold of Cal from Optics Planet, and he sent me down one. It's got a pick rail on top, included flip-up sights, which I think is pretty good value. It's running an 8-inch 9mm barrel with a 1/2 by 28 thread, which is a really good all-around barrel length, in my opinion, for 9mm, because not much more than that, and you pretty much get the max velocity out of the 9mm that you're going to get. 16 inch is kind of a waste in 9mm in my personal opinion, so an 8-inch barrel is really nice, especially for a gun like this, which is meant to be fairly compact, mobile, and easy to use in close quarters. Comes with 3 30-round proprietary magazines. I don't know how I feel about that. I like the Glock mags, but in all fairness, there's a lot of cons to it overall for some guns. So even though these are proprietary, they're only about 20 bucks. They're not like MPX mags or anything like that. So overall, I think that's a pretty big win. The mag release is ambi, as you can see right here, and they just pop out relatively easy. And they do have a beveled mag well, so it makes reloading pretty easy. It has a bolt release right here that when I first picked it up, I had no idea it was there. It's kind of difficult to see. It's more or less a piece of stamped sheet metal that you press down on and it will release the bolt, or you can run the charging handle like Tavor. It has a selector switch very similar to an AR. It's a little bit more low profile, but I had no problems with it. I heard some people complain about the grip and the safety. Neither one of those were an issue to me at all. They both felt real great. Trigger right there, and on the back is a brace adapter and an SBA3, and I actually bought it like this. I got this gun used, and I picked it up with the SBA3 already on it, which is lucky for me because it's my favorite brace in the first place. Originally, I believe it came with a folding brace from SB Tactical, and I just prefer this setup better. Not only is it adjustable for length of pull, because I have a very short wife who also shoots this. Spoiler alert, this is Mrs. Outlaw's favorite gun that she's ever shot, so that's a pretty high bar right there. But the point is, I like to shoot it like this, and when she shoots it, we knock her in just about like that. Now, I know you're asking, why would you get a PCC? Why would you get a pistol caliber carbine that is similar in size and weight to a lot of rifles out now, especially stuff like 300 Blackout and even 10.5 inch 5.56 and stuff like that? Well, the answer is they're actually pretty good at a lot of things. First off, if you live in an apartment complex, something like that, and you're worried about over-penetration, what I mean by over-penetration is I don't mean through drywall, because everybody says that. But the reality is that any major caliber is going to go through drywall. What I'm talking about is going through the intended target and then going through drywall, in which case something like 9mm hollow points, for example, really do well after going through something made of water and breaking up and then hitting drywall and essentially just hitting and fragmenting. So overall, you're going to have 30 rounds of a capable caliber that you don't have to worry too much about going 4 blocks and hitting the neighbor's cat. So that's pretty nice, number one. Number two, they are lightweight generally, and they are very compact, in which case this one is. Running about 5 pounds, and it's only got that 8-inch barrel, but it is a very small compact package that uses a relatively cheap round that you probably already have anyway, because most people who own a firearm own some sort of 9mm pistol, so 9mm carbines work very well. They're going to be quieter indoors with or without a suppressor. And with the suppressor, they're going to be very quiet. If you're running 147 or 165 grain, or a 9mm with something like an Omega 9K indoors, you're not going to have to worry about permanent hearing damage if you have to shoot indoors. So that's very nice as well. And finally, shooting steel up close is another huge benefit. Not only does it add to the training, but it also is a ton of fun. If you're getting a sub gun, cool factor is a category that I would recommend because there's a lot of really good PCCs out there. So get one that looks cool and you're very happy with. Now the price on the Stribog, at least for me, was $650 with the magazines running about 20 bucks, making it a pretty good value. It's reliable. And as it turns out, it is reliable. We shot 1,000 rounds through this with multiple types of ammunition, with a suppressor, without a suppressor, with a light on it, without a light on it, which does occasionally change reliability, and no problems whatsoever. I was very impressed, and guess what? I didn't lube it or clean it. Through the whole process, it ran perfect. So I gotta say, as far as the Stribog goes, for a $650 gun, it is absolutely reliable. It's also very accurate. I did take this out at about 100 yards and I did shoot my plate rack from the prone position, and initially I was missing a little bit, but that's because of the 9mm drop at 100 yards. Once I adjusted for it, I had no problems hitting 6-inch plates. So you know it at least groups under 6 inches with cheap remanufactured ammunition. With high quality ammunition, I assume you're going to be able to get 4 or 3 relatively easily, which is more than enough for your average pistol caliber carbine. Most people say these are only good out to 100 yards. However, you'd have no problem going to 200 or even 300 yards with this if you so choose. How viable is the cartridge going to be at that distance is really up to you. As far as the ergonomics go, we touched on it a little bit, but one of the issues that you're going to have with the Stribog is going to be sticking your finger in the ejection port. That is one thing I noticed that my wife wanted to do, that I wanted to do, and that one of my buddies that came over also wanted to do. The problem with a short rail like this and a front charging handle is that there isn't a whole lot of space. Now, I've seen some people remove the charging handle, put it on the left or on the right side, run it like an AK, and then you can C-clamp grip. You can also C-clamp grip without that if you just kind of put your hand out of the way, because the on the Gen 2 the charging handle does not reciprocate, so you're not going to bust yourself in your thumb, which is relatively nice. Or you can do the magwell grip, which most people say ineffective. I don't seem to be having any problems with it, and I was shooting it pretty fast. So I like to hold it like this. If you're going to SBR it, you could throw a vert grip on it, or you could put an angled grip, or even a hand stop, and you could run the old C-clamp grip, or you could run it like a classic rifle if you want as well. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, but either way, the Stribog has you covered as far as that goes. There's even a little bit of texture down here on the magwell, so you can hold it a little bit better. Slide release, probably the biggest downside of this gun in my opinion. It not only doesn't look very good, but it also doesn't operate very well. I would like to see a slightly better bolt release. I said slide release. It doesn't have a slide, but bolt release. The magazine release worked really well. Safety worked really well. Grip was very nice, and the included SBA3, if you don't have that, get yourself one, because it is a big addition to this gun. As far as the Holosun 512, I'll have a full review of that guy, but I gotta say, wow, am I impressed with that so far. What do you want out of a pistol caliber carbine? Number one, you want it to be reliable. Number two, you want it to be fairly lightweight and compact, which this is. You want it to be fairly cheap, which this is. But mainly, you want to go fast. At least for me. If I'm running a pistol caliber carbine, especially something that looks similar to a sub gun, I want to be able to shoot it with the same rate of fire. And I know that's not possible, but I want to go as fast as I can go. And the Stribog does that very well. First off, the trigger is very nice. Not only does it have a good, clean 5-pound-ish break, but on top of that, the reset, if I can show you guys here, is very nice. You can see there, it's very, very nice break. And the reset is very short as well, very positive. So you can just run the doors off this gun, because not only is the trigger nice so you can reset it really fast, but it also controls recoil well. It is a blowback operated system, but there is a little bit of magic going on in there. It does have a little bit of mitigating recoil, and it has a lot of forward weight. So even though it wants to kick a little bit more, when the weight of the bolt actually comes back, it does pull the gun right back down for the next shot. So as fast as any of the other guns like the CMMG Banshee, for example, which does have a recoil mitigating system, I would say that the Stribog keeps up with it, or actually is a little bit faster.
got that before. And I'm done.
Some of the upgrades I do to your Stribog, if you're gonna go out and get it, is number one, I'd buy a few more of these mags. 3 is nice, but 10 is better. Get yourself a pretty good optic. I would recommend an aftermarket charging handle. I am pretty sure they are available. I would like something a little bit longer, honestly, and I probably will go that route, believe it or not. One thing that's nice about the Stribog is that, kind of like the Glock and the MP5, stuff like that, it does have a really good aftermarket following, because these guns not only are reliable and priced well, but they are actually available as well. So you can go on and you can find different parts to actually piece this out what you like. And that's a big thing for me. I know a lot of people like to buy a gun right out of the box and make it good, make it their own, customize guns to fit me, which is one of the reasons for the SBA3. If you guys are out there in the market right now for pistol caliber carbine, there's a lot of good choices under $1,000. A couple come to mind are going to be the X-Star, running about 400 bucks. You move up a couple $100, you're going to run into this. And you're going to run into this in the FX9 by Freedom Ordnance. And in my opinion, both of those are exceptional guns. One is more of an AR9, which is nice if you like that. And one is more of kind of a classical European subgun, which is the Stribog. And both have their merits, and both are very cool, and both are very reliable, accurate, and priced very well. So if you're looking at the 600 to 700 to 800 value, I would recommend this absolutely. Even to buy something like the CMMG Banshee, which is $1,000. This keeps up with it no problem for almost half the cost. So I gotta say, man, I'm absolutely impressed. I initially wasn't overly excited to pick this up because there was already a ton of reviews, and the Gen 3 is coming out relatively soon, but I'm glad I did, because I'm keeping this. And first off, the wife would kill me if I sold it anyway. So the Stribog, you're gonna see more on the channel in the future. If you want to see a comparison of this gun with some other guns that I have on the channel, let me know in the comment section below. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please stop at your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.